Our next speaker is Juan Peña, CEO of Orbital. Juan, the floor is yours.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, you're seeing my screen, right?
We do.
Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. Nice to be here. Thanks for the invitation. My name is Juan Peña, co-founder and CEO of Orbital. We are a Spanish company, but we operate internationally. That's the beauty of having satellites. We can observe anywhere. The title of my presentation is Supporting Maritime Emergency Response with Space Data. So I would like to share with you some case studies, like what my friend Mayar shared with you, some real examples of real incidents that have had dramatic impacts at different levels. And I want to share with you three quite recent events. One, a ship attacked and abandoned at sea. The second one, a fire in an offshore oil rig. Third one, outages in submarine cables, something that is quite trendy these days. Yeah, so the goal of my presentation today is to provide some answers, and especially to create more questions in your head about how space might be able to help in solving these issues, especially in minimizing the impacts, as Dr. Bikram and Mayar shared. It's about minimizing the impact and helping our clients, our friends, to minimize these impacts. So the first one, this ship was attacked in the Red Sea, August 2024. It's called the Motor Vessel Sunion. It's a quite famous case that was in the media for a very, very long time. Unfortunately, you know the geopolitical situation in the Red Sea. A huge oil tanker with 150,000 tons of crude oil, more than the Exxon Valdez had in their tanks. So we're talking about a lot of oil, a lot of oil. So it was attacked by the Houthis in August 2024. It was a very, very critical situation for many people, especially for the countries in the Red Sea. We're talking about Saudi Arabia, Yemen itself, but also Eritrea, potentially Oman, potentially Egypt, potentially Israel and Jordan, depending on if an oil spill happens, how the spill would move and how much oil would go to the ocean. So this was a very, very critical case that we followed for some time. The second case I want to share with you is another fatal accident in the Mexican Gulf. A Mexican company experienced a fire in one of the oil rigs that they operate. Unfortunately, there were 2 dead. And in the aftermath of this event, a large oil spill was observed. And, we did some work to monitor that and provide information. And the third case that is from this week, actually, not in the Baltic, not in the Mediterranean Sea, in the Red Sea again. Undersea cable service disrupted. As far as we know, the reason is unknown yet. Many theories, attack or just accident. The reason is the reality is that there's no official declaration about what caused this, but the impact is very clear. Pakistan experienced a low latency internet, and other countries in the Gulf region were impacted as well. So it's a kind of new offshore emergency, but you can understand how critical that might be for a country, for the businesses of a country. We're talking about losing, speed in the internet, or sometimes even losing all the data that these cables, help to transport. So in our experience, what decision makers need to understand in situations like this are what is happening, basic information, what is happening at sea, what are the risks involved, and how can we minimize the damage. In some cases, in some maritime emergencies, we might add who is responsible, like in submarine cables outages. So, and the context is very, very important. And that has, from my understanding, a very beautiful link with space, because offshore means remote areas. It's very difficult and very expensive to go there. Deployment of assets, complex and expensive. We're talking about sometimes open ocean, and subject to weather, maritime traffic, and what we do can have an impact in the environment as well. It's not only the emergency that can have an impact, the response itself can have an impact on the environment. So we have to, the guys that, like Mayar or Dr. Bikram, the people that takes the decision is in a very, very compromised situation when they take the decision of what to do. So it's very, very important to understand what is happening, minimize the risk, and get critical information. So for that, we have a product, a software that provides decision makers crucial information during offshore emergencies. And the information provides criteria for action. So the goal is to help them take the right decision. If we're not achieving that, then we're doing it wrong. So, and especially, we're not talking about complicated emergencies that are static. The emergencies are complicated and changing all the time. The situation is changing all the time. That's because that is for all my colleagues from space industry, speed is crucial here. When we're talking about emergencies, as Mayar highlighted, speed is always crucial. If we're sending information 72 hours later, then we're talking about the past. It's useless. So it has to be as real time as possible. And yeah, after that, I have some short videos to showcase you what we did in these emergencies. So this is the platform itself. This is the case of the motor vessel Sunion. As you can see, we use this picture. We tasked satellites to collect pictures over the ship to help the decision makers understand what is the status of the ship, what is happening, where are the fires, is the ship spilling oil, is the ship about to sink, or is it stable? All these information can be extracted from a single satellite image. So we're taking several satellite images per day or per week to upgrade and to update that information, so they have the right information to take decisions. So, and we're talking here just about one single image, one photo from space. It would have been extremely difficult or even impossible to do that with other technology, because we're talking about entering a war zone. The risk of geopolitical conflict is very, very high. So getting this information from space is a very beautiful way of providing, precise, detailed information about the context, about what is happening. The second example about the unfortunate oil spill that Mexican company experienced in the Gulf of Mexico. Here is an optical image, satellite that you might be familiar with, Sentinel-2. So on top of that, what we can do is to map the thickness of the spill into different layers. The red one means thick oil. The blue one means thin oil. We can estimate the quantity of oil released at sea, so you can prepare your response understanding how much oil is there in the water. And we can also try to predict how the spill is going to move in the following hours or days. That helps you understand and assess the risk. So is the spill coming to the shoreline? So we have to be prepared. Where is the spill reaching the shoreline? So the response team has to be there prepared for the spill to come to the shoreline. And especially according to winds and currents that change all the time, again, this is a dynamic situation. So we are updating this information like twice per day. So the response team have, again, criteria for action. They use this information to decide what to do, to optimize decision making. So, and the last case that I wanted to share with you, of course, this is not showcasing the real case that happened in Saudi Arabia, but it is a demo that we have of a new product that we have developed for this new issue, which is outages in cables. So the beauty is that you can combine different data sources like AIS data, of course, the maps of the cables themselves, where are they located, what are their names, their geoposition. These are landing points. So where the cable emerges to continent, you can have all this information in the same place, and you can combine all of them using data science or data intelligence, especially to detect threats. So the blue ships mean, according to certain criteria, there is no threat. The red ships mean this is a potential threat, according to certain criteria that we agree with the customer, like let's see some examples. If I'm not wrong, I'm going, yeah, in this video, you can see some examples like abnormal low speed close to a cable, where this could be like a potential attack, right? We have heard cases like this, ships using their anchor to cut the cables intentionally. There are some cases that are accidental. So we can use these kind of tools to monitor what is happening in real time with AIS data. We can also combine with satellites to detect dark vessels, so vessels that are not transmitting their position and might be doing something suspicious. And you can analyze each case, with specific details about each case in real time. So you can see the details of the ship, if it represents a threat, all the, the details of the AIS data. In this case, the ship is not associated with any threat, but you can see the track of the ship. It's about combining data and providing intelligence about what is happening in your infrastructure. And just a little bit about Orbital. We are a company founded by former Spanish Coast Guard officers. We have had the honor to work in maritime emergencies for a very long time for the Spanish Coast Guard. And we decided to, in a sense, fly higher, use satellites in order to achieve these missions more effectively and more cost efficiently. And what we do is what I have explained. We support decision makers using satellite-based intelligence. In my experience, the beauty of satellites is they're perfect for remote, complicated areas where mobilizing, deploying assets is very complicated, very expensive, or sometimes even impossible because of the risk of deploying, human assets there. I would like to take the opportunity to promote this event that we are organizing this year. It couldn't be more related to this because it's an international conference on maritime emergencies. Please feel invited, all of you feel invited to attend. The space industry will have a key role here because what we want to do is to avoid, echo chambers in the industry. We want to put people like Mayar and people like Dr. Vikram and people from the space industry in the same room for 2 days. So they talk. And some of them talk about the problems and the challenges they have. And some of them showcase some solutions that might potentially address those problems. So please feel invited to this conference. As you see, We have some relevant space companies as sponsors, like Telespacio, Pencosmos, ISDESAT, and ISAI. We have maritime authorities like Spanish Coast Guard and Coast Guard from other countries like Indian Coast Guard and also Papua New Guinea Coast Guard. And some oil and gas organizations like ARPEL, which is representing the interest of a lot of oil and gas companies in South America. Of course, we have experts like Mayar coming from oil and gas companies, Chadon Petroleum from Repsol. And what we want to do is to put problem owners and problem solvers in the same place for today. So hopefully we make it work and we find solutions for those problems. And with that, I would like to share with you my contact details. Happy to ask any questions if you have them. Thank you.